After the success of The Untamed in 2019, fans adored Xiao Zhan's portrayal of Wei Wuxian. The show gained popularity for its costumes, story, and the chemistry between stars Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. Needless to say, the audience loved him, and of course, the industry finally got to see his talents and TV scripts started piling up in his inbox. However, Xiao Zhan revealed in an interview that embodying Wei Wuxian was personally difficult. Behind the scenes, Xiao Zhan faced intense stress during the summer of 2018, barely eating and struggling emotionally. He found it hard to move on from the character, especially when encountering certain scenes. Overcoming this challenging period took considerable time and effort for Xiao Zhan. Who knew that a breakout role on 2019's biggest drama would cause him so much trouble? The Untamed was not Xiao Zhan's first acting gig. He had been acting since 2016. But growing up, being an actor was not what he wanted to do with his life. He studied design in university. In his second year of university, he founded a design studio with his friends and picked up some logo and 6 design work, and also attended the shocking Cringe Cup poster design competition. Xiao Zhan's first job upon graduation was a designer at a certain studio. In 2015, audition shows launched, and because he loved to sing, he joined the variety show X-Fire and learned to sing and dance from scratch. His bright and handsome appearance and confident performance moved the hearts of the audience, and in the end he made his debut as a member of Zhan. However, at that time, the idol culture in China was not as big as the ones in Japan and South Korea. The group really didn't go anywhere, and he spent 4 months sitting at home after debuting. That is when he decided to get into acting. Being a total newbie, he only managed to get a few small roles, but in time he got bigger roles until he got his life-changing gig as one of the male leads on The Untamed. In the process of selecting roles, Xiao, the screenwriter, met many people. Some people said that they read the original work, but as soon as you asked them about it, their lie fell through. Xiao Zhan was honest. He hadn't had time to read the book, so he said that he didn't read it. But he memorized the script like the back of his hand and wrote countless character studies. Direct analyses, relationship charts, full of his notes. He did a lot of that. He was prepared to the best of his ability. This sincerity and professionalism touched young Xiao. From the moment he joined, I was never worried about Xiao Zhan. He's a very clear-headed person. I don't need to say much to him, she revealed. He lived and breathed his role. He had more than 900 scenes and complicated lines. The director prompted the actors live on set and asked them to act out certain expressions and actions without there being an opposing actor. This required the actor to be very familiar with the script and have that image themselves so they could react immediately. Young Xiao said, Xiao Zhan did the best out of everyone in this aspect. He went through several copies of the script. When the director, Chan Ka Lam, prompted him, Zhan, be a bit sadder, he could immediately go from a neutral expression to a sad frown, and he would go through many different emotional states for the director to make the final selection. Even after a year, in many interviews, he could still accurately repeat Wei Wuxian's lines. Young Xiao knows how much Xiao Zhan gave to this character. She could feel during filming how Xiao Zhan intentionally sank deeper and deeper into Wei Wuxian's character. At a lunch gathering after filming had wrapped, young Xiao felt that Xiao Zhan had changed. Before on set, he was like a little sparrow, chattering non-stop. Anything you say could make him laugh, and everyone would tell him, Xiao Laoshi, that's enough, stop laughing. Back then, Xiao Zhan said that he's really quite introverted, but no one believed him. This time when they met, young Xiao realized that he is actually a quiet person. Suddenly she began to understand why Xiao Zhan was the way he was back then. He changed himself into Wei Wuxian. Being lively became a way for him to relieve that stress. Xiao Zhan himself says, when filming wrapped up I couldn't forget Wei Wuxian, but I thought, I have to move on, I have to leave him there and give him back to the one he loves. He's someone I will have a hard time ever forgetting. I'm grateful to him, and I hope that he'll be happy. After filming ended, he literally had to go on a trip because he couldn't break away from the character. Recalling that time, he says it was just an endless period of pain and anguish due to the tough life his character had lived. He would even cry recalling scenes from the drama. Xiao Zhan really loved and connected with Wei Wuxian. He poured so much of himself into the character. He had a breakdown. There was a scene in The Untamed that he can't forget even until now. Young Xiao commented, the killer scene 38:1 was Xiao Zhan's eternal pain. It was a group scene, many actors were there. Xiao Zhan's role was like a detective, and he had to answer everyone's questions. He had 2 whole double-sided pages of lines. He highlighted his own part using orange highlighter, and the entire pages were just orange. He had the lines memorized perfectly in the car, but as soon as they started filming, Xiao Zhan's mind went blank and he couldn't remember them. All he could remember was the orange color of the highlighter. Aside from apologizing, he didn't know what else he could do, so he kept apologizing. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I really can't memorize it." The strict director didn't scold him this time but said, "I hope everyone will understand, he's been filming for the whole day, his brain is really running on its last legs." Thankfully, he was able to get past his mental block and give his best. He says he's never gone through a systematic training as an actor. He's worried about not doing well, he lacked confidence. His happiest moment was when the director told him he did well, and that he's coming closer and closer to the character. He suffered multiple injuries. Chan Ka Lam, the director, says it was an especially hot summer in Hengdian in 2018. "I remember there was a scene one day where we were filming the punishment scene picking up dung and afterwards, he was strapped into wire mid-air. There were no clouds in the sky that day. The sun was practically shining on everyone like it was trying to melt us. He looked like he was having a heat stroke. I immediately asked how he was doing and if he was okay. He responded with, 'Don't worry, not a problem, we can continue shooting.' There was also a time where we filmed a rain scene for 7 consecutive nights. The sprinkler cards kept pouring out water. His eyes were often bloodshot due to the long filming hours each day. In addition to those few nights of shooting, his eyes were infected from the man-made rain, but he still maintained his professionalism to complete filming. There was also another time where he was filming an action scene and made a mistake and his lips ended up getting smashed. After getting his wound treated at the hospital, he continued shooting the night scenes. The director himself says these instances were just a few of the many trials and tribulations Xiao Zhan suffered on the set. He couldn't eat properly. Hardcore fans of both the novel and the drama will remember the biggest tearjerker when Shijie died protecting Wei Wuxian. Xian Lu says, "This highlight moment in the drama took over 1 week to film. The actors and actresses got their makeup done every night at 11 and filmed until 9 the next morning. I saw him get thinner and thinner as he filmed. When the filming was stressful, he only ate some snacks and didn't eat properly at all," she recalls. Even the usually gentle Shijie, Xian Lu would scold him. "I would make him hurry and go eat. Whatever he wants to eat we can ask the staff to buy, or I can cook for him." It got to be too much for Xian Lu. When filming the destruction of Lotus Pier, I felt sad just seeing Xiao Zhan. We would both cry as soon as we made eye contact. She didn't know if it was because she felt for Xiao Zhan, who was filming on an empty tank, or for the painful story of her Shidi Wei Wuxian. Her heart ached whenever she looked at Xiao Zhan. Whether it's the drama or real life, I couldn't tell anymore. I felt like I was in a daze. Because of this, she and Xiao Zhan couldn't go over their lines together at all before the actual filming, even when they just saw each other's figures from far away. Before they even opened their mouths and say any lines, their eyes would already be brimming with tears. Even this conversation with Wang Yiba highlights the same issue. I told him, "You can't be like this. You have to eat something you like, no matter what. You can't just eat a few crackers. How can you keep going like that?" His scenes go from morning until night. Despite being 183 meters tall, he only weighed 63.5 kilograms during filming. He later admitted that it was difficult for him to eat food when it was too hot, but he saw how not eating was affecting his health, so his trainer encouraged him to eat more if he wants to gain weight and build muscle. He suffered from chronic fatigue. Although the media and his castmates praised him for being a professional who put his work first, the crew members saw a different picture. Dubbed a workaholic, he would get up at 5 a.m. and wouldn't wrap up even after midnight. Sometimes he would be so tired he will be swaying. However, Xiao Zhan never complained because he loves his work. Filming overnight is tough, and he did it consecutively. He barely got a few hours of sleep a day. Another crew member concurred, saying, "Sometimes I saw that during breaks he can't even sit properly, and needs to lie back. Fortunately there will be people to support him." Yang Xia says, the Hong Kong director's style was highly efficient. When they finished one shot, before the actors could even sit down, they already got ready for the next shot. More than 900 scenes in the hot summer. At first, they would film a set number of scenes in a day, but it was really tiring, so they changed it to a set amount of time. Every day was 14 to 17 hours. In the later half of filming, it was all-night scenes. How long would a normal person be able to go on? Those few months really wrecked his health. Another crew member added that at the height of the Untamed's criticism, Xiao Zhan was filming in a cold cave, sick and running a fever. He was almost cancelled. After going through a grueling filming schedule, they wrapped up and the drama was aired. With success came fame. Unfortunately, that fame and influence cannot be regulated or controlled by the actor himself. On January 30, 2020, a user from the fan fiction site Archive of Our Own began serializing a novel titled Falling, which focuses on Xiao Zhan and his co-lead from the Untamed, Wang Yiba. On February 24, a Weibo user published 2 article links to a piece of the fan fiction, which depicts Xiao Zhan as a cross-dressing teen falling in love with Wang Yiba. Xiao's fans were unhappy about having their favorite idol's identity used in homoerotic literature and viewed it as tarnishing Xiao's image. Many fans then decided to report the fictional content to Chinese authorities as underage pornography, hoping it would get it censored. 2 days later, the fiction's publishing platforms, the Chinese fan fiction site Lofter and the international open-source platform Archive of Our Own, were taken down by Chinese cyberspace police, a move that was met with angry protests. Their criticisms were further amplified by controversial behaviors of some of Xiao Zhan's fans, and claimed that the actor should take responsibility for his fans' actions. Enraged by Xiao fans' censorship plot, millions of free speech activists began boycotting the dozens of brands Xiao campaigns for, including Estée Lauder, Piaget and Keelan. But they've gone further than the usual boycott by promoting competitors of Xiao-promoted brands, crashing Xiao-sponsored brands' customer service lines, and pressuring those brands to end their collaborations with Xiao. Although Xiao Zhan's studio issued an apology, the damage had already been done. Chinese drinks brand Mingyo True Fruit, Piaget, Cartier and Estée Lauder were among the brands that caved in and dropped him. He disappeared from the public eye for almost a whole year before he slowly emerged and reclaimed his career. On a more lighthearted note, after The Untamed, he hilariously went on a rant about the struggles of always acting in period dramas, saying, "Do you know how hard it is to wear hair extensions? I need to wake up early every day and all my real hair is falling out." Though Xiao Zhan had his struggles, he still managed to pull off the role perfectly. Through it all, Xian Zhan is positive, says, "Since I already made up my mind to start acting, I won't leave easily, I will do it well. If I leave, it's because I want to leave, not because I can't do it anymore. I can accept leaving this industry, maybe one day I'll want to live a new life, and I'll leave. But I won't give up over things like a roadblock in my acting or a very difficult character. I won't, I'll definitely push forward and grind it down." Kudos to him for giving his all and doing justice to the role of Wei Wuxian.